This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your wages are being garnished. We can stop that now. It's hard enough to pay your bills when things are good, let alone when a big chunk of your take-home pay is gone before you even get your check. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne, and I can stop the garnishment and get the creditors off your back immediately, often the same day as our consultation. Both Chapter 7 and 13 provide bankruptcy relief, but choosing the right chapter is crucial. In a free consultation, we can create a plan to get your finances back under your control. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. Hey, make sure you get that Odyssey app, because that way you can check out the new Odyssey exclusive stations that are curated for listeners just like you.
Some great stations you can enjoy, like being outside, listening to some classic 70s, classic rock from the 70s, which is a very cool station. Or if you're crazy like Ryan Castle and you love that yacht rock, and I bring him up because he's the guy who curated the station and put it all together, there's Jugger Yacht Rock.
Yeah, we found out, though, that Rev has no love for Barry Manilow, which he totally fits into Jugger Yacht Rock.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what's going on.
So the Rev will probably check out the classic 70s station before the Yacht Rock station. But that's the cool part of it. There's a station for everybody.
There really is. There's lots more. You can download the Odyssey app today. Get all of the audio that matters to you. That's AUDACY Odyssey.
Let's play Beat Mix.
It's time to play the game.
Yeah.
So everybody scream his name. Beat Mix. Don't be a loser. Whoa. Beat Mix. You're a loser.
It is time to Beat Mix. And it's time to pump it up from under. That's right. Pump it up. Let's do this. Yeah, let's do it. Get excited about Monday or the start of a new week or, I don't know, something cool. Let's get to our contestant. We've got Jeff in Puyallup. Jeff, are you there?
Yeah, buddies.
All right. All right, Steve, get out of here. Goodbye. For those playing at home, Jeff will have 60 seconds to answer 10 questions. Jeff, you can pass all you want, but you'll only get 3 guesses per question. Are you ready?
Ready.
What year in the mid-2000s did Aaron Rodgers join the Green Bay Packers?
2004, 2005.
2005, yes. Who played Jules in the 90s movie Pulp Fiction?
Oh, that was John Travolta or Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes. 128 fluid ounces make up what single unit of measurement?
1 gallon.
Yes. Hollandaise sauce originated in what European country?
France.
Yes. What band had the hit songs Closer and Head Like a Hole?
Oh, that was 9 Inch Nails.
Yes. A cardiologist is focused primarily on what organ of the body? Yes. Which ukulele player was known for Tiptoe Through the Tulips?
Tiny Tim.
Yes. Whom did Ed O'Neill play in Married with Children?
He was Al Bundy.
Yes. What fruit is grown extensively on Cape Cod?
Cranberries.
Yes. Who was the U.S. president from 1969 to 1974?
Let's say Ford.
No.
Not Kennedy. Nixon.
Yes! And at the last second, Jeff gets it in a perfect 10!
All right.
Man, that's a way to pump it up for a Monday.
It's been a couple of years.
Good job,
And it's
buddy.
been a couple months since I won. Gee.
Well, you can't say that you have a 100% chance there, but there's a chance.
It is. It is Steve.
It is Steve.
It is. This would be worth betting. This would be a betting thing, but
you're right.
No, he won't even bet.
It would be a great time to maybe place a wager, but it's 2021 and Rev's not betting, so it's not going to happen. And did a little dance there.
Proof that I was out and about. Text just came in. My buddy saw Miggs at Baby Gap. That's right.
Baby Gap?
Yeah, I was finding some new clothes for myself, you know?
Get a crop top or something?
That's where I get the best clothes.
I got to tell you, that nutritionist is doing wonders for you.
Right.
Losing so much weight.
I mean, I'm still a Baby Gap Triple XL, but I'm getting there.
All right, man.
I'm eventually going to get to a size large in Baby Gap clothes.
Work on yourself. That's all you can do. You ready?
Oh, yeah!
What year of the mid-2000s did Aaron Rodgers join the Green Bay Packers?
2004.
No.
2005.
Yes.
That's right.
Who played Jules in the 90s movie Pulp Fiction?
Crap. Was that Samuel L. Jackson?
Yes. 128 fluid ounces make up what single unit of measurement?
A gallon.
Yes. Hollandaise sauce originated in what European country?
That would be France.
Yes. What band had the hit songs Closer and Head Like a Hole?
9 Inch Nails.
Yes. A cardiologist is focused primarily on what organ of the body?
Heart.
Yes.
Feeling good.
Which ukulele player is known for Tiptoe Through the Tulips?
Crap. Eddie Vedder.
No.
Tiny Tim.
Yes. Whom did Ed O'Neill play in Married with Children?
Al Bundy.
Yes.
Shoe salesman.
What fruit is grown extensively on Cape Cod?
Crap. Cherries?
No.
Apples?
No.
Fruit. Cape Cod. Corn?
No. Who was the U.S. president from 1969 to 1974?
Eisenhower.
No.
Nixon.
Yes. Too late.
Come on.
Oh, Steve. You know what? I could even give it to you because you still
I
lose. Jeff got a perfect 10 and the win.
Nice.
Woo.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Congrats,
good,
dude.
man.
What a game.
Yeah.
Jeff's the winner, and Steve is...
Ooh, nice. This will get you pumped up on a Monday. Well, except for Steve. You know what's great in a fruit salad? Corn.
Really?
No, you said corn as a fruit, and so I was making fun of
Oh, I was trying to think Cape Cod, and all I could think is, there's Smith Family Popcorn are in that area, so I was like,
Okay.
maybe it's corn. That's the way my mind thinks.
you. All right, now at least we get to the nitty-gritty on that one.
My other guess was going to be lobster, so I knew that was a better guess of the two.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what's popular in that area.
Oh, you're not going to know it. Even I forgot that this was in that area.
I thought this was going to be a tough one. Jeff did get it. It's cranberries.
Yeah.
Cranberries?
Yeah. I think Ocean Spray's out of there, but maybe that's Florida. I don't know.
There's also Plymouth too. Plymouth, Mass, I think has a lot of cranberry bogs, if I'm not mistaken. But
really,
which maybe you know what I mean. It's not that far. It's not that far from the whole situation anyway.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on Jeff on that win and getting all pumped up on Monday.
A text wants to know, though, your question about the cranberries is wrong. They grow cranberries in Wisconsin, but maybe I misheard the question. Did you say extensively or exclusively?
I said extensively, not exclusively. I'm just saying it was all over Cape Cod.
Gotcha.
That's what they do. Yeah, if I said exclusively, that'd be weird because, there's cranberries everywhere. I think.
I don't know.
Well, hey, listen.
Yeah, I was
you know
like,
what?
I don't have the information right in
The
front of me.
research
So.
is amazing.
Well,
Yeah. Congratulations. You lost, Steve.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
No problem, buddy. My pleasure. We got a survey from people, and they were asked, hey, how old were you when you finally felt like a grown-up? Now, I've got the top 10 things that make us feel grown up, but I got to tell you that pretty much the number one answer was I don't feel like a grown up yet.
I was about to say, I'll let you know when I find that out.
Yeah, right.
That's what we do for a living. I feel like we're in Arrested Development all the time.
Oh, gosh, yeah. And look, I don't know if it's getting any better. I think every generation, it's later and later in your life that you feel like a grown up.
Don't you think, though, a lot of it has to do with the job? Because I know some people that are my age, And the type of job that they do is way more serious. Not to say that what we do isn't serious, but I mean, at the end of the day, we tell fart jokes and make fun of each other for 4 hours. You know, like we get to talk about fun things, and we're very lucky in that sense. Whereas some of my friends have like a very serious, like, quote unquote, some would say boring job, and they seem way more grown up than me.
I think it's a mix of that and how often they can pursue their quote-unquote childish hobbies. Like if you're really into gaming or like nostalgia stuff, Pokemon, whatever it is, like if they're able to do that a lot, even if they have a boring job, then I feel like they might still feel a little childish or not as an adult. But if they're kind of at a boring job and don't really do anything during the day, they might just feel like a grown-up. That's sad.
Well, then we got to define what grown-up is, because the way we're making it sound like grown-up is when you just accept that life is boring. And I don't think that's necessarily the case.
That's kind of what I feel like it is.
Right, we got to fix that.
Yeah.
We got to shift the paradigm, BJ.
Oh, yeah, because Vicky, you're a grown-up by all the definitions that people are given. You're a massive grown-up if we go by this thing. They've got, like, number one is owning a home is the number one thing that people think makes them feel like a grown-up.
That definitely, it's like, I guess I felt more responsible at that point. I couldn't just, like, up and leave something. You know what I mean? Like, with renting, you could be like, okay, in a month I'm out.
So we'll go around the room and ask, when did you feel like, okay, now I'm a grown-up? That is if you feel like a grown-up right now. You go, all right, I'm adulting. That's the popular phrase that people use. When did you feel like you were a grown-up and you were actually adulting?
Even with buying a house, I didn't really feel like much changed. I feel like when I turned 40, that was a kind of a moment where it was like, okay, not necessarily that I'm going to like stop being what I am and stop doing the things that I love to do, but at least I got to be a little bit more responsible. Oh, okay, I got to think about more about future stuff, especially with a kid now. I think kid probably too would be kid and 40.
Yeah, that's number 9 on the list, kid. 40, Steve, you are way behind the curve on this one because people did list ages. And 30 was the oldest when people thought they were grown up.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, you're. Yeah.
I blame the job, man.
Oh, is that what it is? You want to blame the job?
I am 100% blaming this job.
All right. So, Rev, how about you? When did you start feeling like a grown-up?
I'll let you know.
Okay, there you go. That was a popular answer.
Even just owning the house or getting married or any of these things, I do not feel like a grown-up whatsoever. I feel like I'm just faking it and everyone just kind of bought into it.
Oh, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, don't tell your wife that you're faking it.
Well, hopefully she's not listening right now.
Well, we can see why Steve maybe still at 40. We're not sure he's a grown-up. So, having kids is like on there. Getting married is also a big one on the list. Getting your first full-time job for a lot of people. How about you, Vicky? When did you feel like a grown-up?
I'm one of those that I still don't really feel like a grown-up. I mean, I have my own house, I've got my own car, I pay for my own insurance, do all those adulty things, but I don't.
I think it's because we have such a negative. We're creating like this negative stigma for being a grown-up when it really shouldn't be. But I think that's why you don't want to get to that point because you view being a grown-up as being something that's like almost like thrown in the towel.
Yeah, like I think it feels stuffier, but then it's also like a weird mindset because I'll have those moments of panic, like, oh my God, I need an adult, and then I realize I am the adult, and it throws me off. Like I forget that I'm 31. I sometimes think I'm still in my 20s, like 22. I'm like, I should not be allowed to do these things. I should not be allowed to have a house or do any of these things. But somehow I am.
Have you ever been around somebody and you're just like, man, that person's just such an old fuddy-duddy, and you realize you're like 7 years older than them, and you're like, oh man, wait a second. You know what I mean?
That's my life.
Yeah, like sometimes you're around somebody that's maybe like a peer, and you just look at them you almost look at them as like the adult in the situation, and like you're like the little brother, and you realize actually I'm older than that person.
Yeah, I never wanted to be that guy that was an old thinker. You know, my body's going to be what my body's going to be, and I'm always going to look like I'm 100 years old. But I always wanted to be a youthful thinker. I didn't want to be one of those old people that just like everything was bad. If it wasn't from the 1950s, it's all horrible. And Steve, I got people younger than me that are just like, you know what, this show isn't what it used to be. And it's like, okay, dude, that show's like over 50 years old. You think that's what television or movies should be? 50 years ago? Okay.
Well, I had that situation like my wife and I had a conversation because one time my mom said something that kind of like just it got me pretty upset because she like was saying stuff about whatever. He goes, well, when are you going to grow up? And like basically.
Oh, I remember that line.
And it's just like, okay, because I still play hockey or I still play music, I wrestle. Like I do things that I consider to be a lot of fun that in the eyes of my parents, they view it as, well, until you stop doing those, you haven't grown up. Like, and I think about that because as a kid, I saw my parents when they were in their 40s, and that's why I used to think 40 was such a scary thing, because they basically just gave up on all the stuff that they enjoyed doing. And I get it, like that, you know, they had jobs that were grinding them down, or us kids were grinding them down. But I was like, I just viewed them as like, okay, at 40 you're old. When now I don't think anyone really views 40 as old. I mean, it's older than 30, obviously. But, you know, I look at how my parents were when I was growing up as a kid. You know, it was 10 or 11 and they were in their 40s. And I don't think anyone really is like that, at least in my circle of friends and people in my life. Even my brother, I don't think he acts like he's quote unquote grown up, even though he's a father of 3 and he's retired.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Like your brother's retired. Now, granted, in the military, you can retire sooner than most people, but
he's still in his 40s, yeah.
Yeah, but still, like, you know, I mean, he basically, you know, as far as the military life goes, he did it. You know, he's like a grown-up in the military. If you get past your 20 years, you are definitely a military grown-up. Right, that's for sure.
And he went past what, you know, he went further than he, quote-unquote, was going to originally. Like, he's like, okay, I can retire at this point, or I could stay an extra couple of years and have a better pension.
Vicky made a good point, though, because when I'm a boomer and I'm a young boomer. I was right on the cusp of boomer or Gen X. And I do remember my parents were the silent generation. It was like, when are you going to stop doing those childish things? And it's all the fun stuff that keep you sane while you're doing all the crappy stuff you don't want to do. And they never did any of that. Though my dad, I have to say, did at some point in his life decide, you know what, I'm going to build that model railroad that I wanted to. And he went and made this, he took the whole downstairs and just made it a giant diorama of plaster of Paris mountains. And I've always remembered that, like, man, you know what, he was able to pursue that. And I think that was the smartest thing he ever did in his life. And I think that's the difference, is that you're a grown-up just because you want to have fun. That doesn't mean you're not a grown-up.
Right. You're still paying your bills. You're still making sure you're providing for your family. At the end of the day, that's the most important part, of course. But like, that doesn't mean that you should just completely give up on everything and just watch the news and be depressed like some people in my family. You know, they've given up all their fun stuff so they can just sit in front of a television and be mad at the world.
So I want to take grown-up back. I think we all are grown-ups. We just like to have fun and don't want to let go of that childhood jubilation that we had. And we're still adulting. We're still getting it done.
That's why I don't call it midlife crisis. I call it midlife fun time.
Yeah, that makes it sound positive, at least.
No crisis. Just want to have fun still.
Yeah, and you can stay married that way, too. And you know what I mean? And you don't have to go out and spend $1 zillion on a sports car.
And someone brought up a good point, though, that maybe our stigma with growing up is because of that damn giraffe. The Toys R Us jingle. I don't want to grow up. We all want to be Toys R Us kids still.
Right?
Yeah,
there's no Toys R Us. Toys R Us grew up and stopped being in place.
And we still want to be able to eat tricks, because tricks are for kids.
Totally.
Oh, yeah, you silly rabbit. You can't have any, Vicky.
Tricks are trash.
Tricks are
what
trash?
The hell?
Wow.
I knew it was going to piss off at least one person in this room. I just knew it.
Look, I'm not a Tricks fan, but I'm not going to call them trash.
I really don't have a strong opinion on Tricks. I don't remember the last time I had any. You know me,
Yeah.
I'm an Apple Jacks kind of guy.
Oh,
yeah.
well, all right then.
Applejacks for life.
Okay, okay. Hey, take it easy there. I didn't know we were going to start pulling out gats over this.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Want to create a lifetime of memories this spring? Do you remember the joy of jumping as a child? If only there was a way your own kids could experience that same joy safely. Spring Free Trampoline has been engineered to eliminate 90% of product-related injuries. The Spring Free design boasts no springs and a flexible enclosure, and proudly offers a 10-year warranty. That's peace of mind. Lock in your ultimate backyard safe space before summer arrives. Visit springfreetrampoline.com.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. Well, this woman, I think, in Florida is pretty brilliant. She's 32, and she's facing charges for a shipping label scheme where she scammed Amazon out of $165,000. Steve, I'm reading this story over and over again. I still don't really understand how she did it, but I'll try to tell you. Maybe somebody will figure it out.
Okay.
She used 31 different accounts. Mm-hmm. And reused prepaid shipping labels for canceled orders that they then reimbursed her for. Over 5 years, she returned about 42,000 items and got about $4 each every time she did it. And even though she used 31 different accounts, they were all in her name and used her address.
So I was reading a little bit about this. I'm like, this is an incredible scam. And from what it sounds like is that when she would make the return to the 41,000, what is it?
42,000 items.
42,000 items. They would say, do you want us to cover the shipping? She's like, I will take care of that. So like that, she was taking care of that. So they were never giving her the money for that. But then she was getting the money with a different part of it all where she was getting $3 here, $3 there, $3 here. So she was making money off of the reimbursement of the shipping.
Wow.
Like she had a way to be able to ship them outside. I'm not, maybe she like worked somewhere where she could ship things for free.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And so Amazon was footing the bill, apparently. I mean, because she scammed them.
She was scamming them with the shipping reimbursement.
Yeah. So I still, even as you explained it, I don't even quite understand it, which is why the government should hire her. As soon as she, pays her debt to society, she's smarter than I am, and she's facing a grand theft charge. Yeah, it's here's a law enforcement person and TV reporter, all of them at her door.
This woman found a loophole with a very large company that all of us use, and she took advantage of that loophole. Basically, what she was doing is claiming that she paid for the shipping prices when she didn't do it. They have a fraud department, and they were tracking her for a while.
What were you doing making all those returns?
No, I don't have any comment.
Do you have an attorney we could reach out to?
Not yet.
Oh, you're going to have to get one.
Good for her, man. I mean, look, it's bad. She should be arrested.
Good for her for being a criminal.
Well, I mean, for having the kind of mind to come up with a criminal scheme like this. This is a white-collar crime. And, yeah, she should pay her debt to society. But, I mean, this is the kind of person you want to, you see in all the movies. You want to recruit her and have her work for the good guys.
So I was reading a little bit more about it. So this is how they describe it. So hopefully this makes sense in our heads. She would order the items from Amazon, then return them. She would always check the box that said she's paying for her own shipping, so they'd reimburse her for the cost. But she wasn't paying for the shipping. What she would do then is she would use prepaid shipping labels from canceled orders to ship the stuff back to Amazon.
Okay. Well, that's again, there's a lot of work. You should put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, and she probably was like, I figured it out.
Yeah.
And then what happens, you go to the well one too many times. The stupid part, though, I think, is that she put her name and her address on every single one of these. So at some point, there had to be a red flag.
But think about this, though. None of us like to go to the post office, right? Who loves to go to the post office, UPS, whatever?
I do.
FedEx?
I love waiting in line at the post office with other happy people that love to be there as well.
42,000 items she did this with. So she worked for this. I mean, look, again, it's against the law. She should be whatever the full penalty. But it's not like she didn't do anything. 42,000 items she returned. That's insane.
So do you think, though, if you put that kind of energy towards like something that was maybe, I don't know, above board and legal, that maybe she could have had some success in whatever career that she was having?
I would think so.
If you've got that kind of know-how and you've got that kind of, I don't know, just determination, I almost feel like you could apply it to good. I don't know what the good is, but at some point you got to be able to figure that out.
But then $165,000, though, I mean, there's not too many. If you're just a regular person, no matter how smart you are, if you're a regular person, and sometimes you only can make so much money in your life, there's just a ceiling.
It's quite the side hustle.
Yeah, it's a great side hustle.
It's the lukewarm topic of the day.
A great and illegal side hustle.
Yeah, well, there is that. So this woman in Florida busted for scamming Amazon out of $165,000. Based on this, what was your scam? What was a scam that you or someone you know pulled off? 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999. Let's go to JR in Puyallup. JR, you are on the Rock.
Good morning.
Good morning, buddy. What you got?
So, from probably about age 12 to 14, I had a scam with Walmart. My uncle taught me, but basically what you would do, you go in there and you buy any piece of clothing you wanted, and then you would return it to a different Walmart, and they would give you a special return sticker. So basically, you'd walk the store, you take that return sticker off, you'd go to the store, and whatever you want. I mean, we got paintball guns, chainsaws, I mean, we got a bunch of stuff, but you would put that return sticker on the box, and then you would hold the receipt, and then you would walk out of the exit, confident with that return sticker showing out to the door greeter, which, always with the smartest people, could see that sticker and see that you had a receipt, and they would never stop us. And from 12 to 14, I got a lot of stuff. I'm 33 now, 10 years long, I'm good to go.
So they gave you a return sticker to show that what you were just basically getting the same item is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, and since you put it on a piece of clothing, you could take that sticker off and it would look perfect. Like if you took a box back, that sticker would rip.
Yeah.
But that's why you put it on a piece of clothing. We got a lot of stuff from 12.
Whoa, you know what? Here was I mean, this is the beauty of America, man. You're trying to make things convenient, which I think is cool. Here's a return sticker. Yeah, but the ingenuity of America. Yeah. Well, I can't throw any stones because I had a whole clothing scam going on, switching tags and doing all that stuff. So
you can't do that anymore because everything is all digital.
Yeah, they got me. They finally foiled me all these years later. 206-421-ROCK, text us at 77999. What scam have you or someone you know pulled off? Let's go to Joe in Seattle. Joe, you are on the Rock.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe. What you got, buddy?
Well, was 19, and my cousin was 18. I'm 47 now, so it's a long time ago. I think I paid my dues. But we were young, and we were broke, and we had our own apartment on Alki, and so everyone hung out there because we were high school kids, with our own apartment.
Gotcha.
Anyway, we were always broke. We had no money.
I think that's what always broke means.
This was in the early 90s.
Oh, this is good.
This is the age of grunge.
Okay, Joe. I thought so. I tried to warn you, Joe.
Just get to the point.
I tried to warn you.
We don't
Steve,
need like this. Like you're not a poet. That's not like
you mean a storyteller.
That too.
Yeah.
You don't have to be all descriptive. And
dude, don't you understand? They were broke and they were in high school, and they had their own apartment.
It was in the 90s.
And in the 90s, where there was the age of grunge. What does that have to do with a scam?
Well, maybe they were scamming long johns. And
that's what it was.
Flannel shirts. I don't know.
I don't know.
Get to the point.
We were broke, and we were age of grungy. It was the 90s, Steve. Okay, what the hell's wrong with you? It was the 90s. We were young, Steve.
Young and free and wild, BJ.
Yeah.
All right, how about this person says in the early days
90s.
of Xbox Live,
in
the 90s.
Yeah.
No, I used to pretend to be a female gamer, and I scammed people out of over $700 in Xbox credits. Worked out pretty well. I got a pretty good catalog for Rock Band, LOL.
So how did they
flirted with the guys, and they paid for
Yeah.
their credits.
Wow.
If they're not using any voice chat or anything, and they're just typing it in, you're typing, "Ooh, I'm a sexy lady. Give me stuff." People will do that.
You think he wrote naughty stuff, though? I mean, really, to get them into...
You got to do what you got to do to be able to get those songs.
I mean,
yeah, you need those Rock Band songs.
Yeah, that's.
I noticed your daughter's in the room.
I can understand people doing that back then because that was, it was the 90s.
What were the 90s like, though?
Oh, they were grungy.
Totally grungy.
Yeah. We were in high school then, Steve.
So grungy, so grungy.
Yeah.
This was not me, actually. This was my friend. She started helping out at a daycare and wanted to become a teacher. But to become a teacher, you had to have at least some form of college. You had to have your AA. And she did not. So she took my friend's AA degree and deleted her name and put her name in.
Ooh,
yep.
That's hardcore.
And was a teacher for years.
Whoa.
What?
It worked.
Did she ever get caught?
She never got caught, and I don't think she had any guilt or anything about it, but I would stay up at night thinking she was going to get caught.
Right.
Like, that is hardcore.
Did she ever get Employee of the Month, or was she really good at her job? Because that shows you the scam sometimes.
She was so good at her job. The kids loved her.
Was this back in the 90s?
It was the grunge time.
Hey, we
she
were
might
young.
have lived on Alki.
And this poor woman was broke. She had no money. She had no money.
Yeah, she had no money, so she had to
scammed
fake.
being a teacher.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I know. She was like, I'm never going to get caught, and I was so nervous for her.
Dude, I had a family member that did that faked having a college degree, and they went on to become a massive player in commercial real estate and a big wig in New York City. Did really well, and articles were written about her.
And no one ever found out?
No. But my dad knew, and it bothered him so much that she lied. Like, it didn't matter that she earned everything she got other than the degree.
Yeah.
But, like, she worked her way up from the bottom of the barrel at the place that she worked and made her way to become, like, president of the company. Like, she was, like, the story of someone working in the mailroom that just hustled and worked hard to get to the point where she was at. But it bothered my dad to no end that he's like, she never, especially when the articles came out saying she graduated at this college. Like, you never graduated at a college. You never even went to that college.
It's all a lie.
Right. But it was before like internet. So like nobody really was fact checking.
And his generation, where they were allowed to grumble, but they would have looked bad if they said anything. That's why he had to keep it to himself.
Oh yeah. Snitches get stitches.
Exactly.
From, our family. She's not, she's no one to mess with.
Oh, well, I didn't even tell you.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah. I thought about that.
Yeah, dude.
See,
and I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. I can appreciate your father because I'm that kind of guy too. Like, I like to follow the rules. But to me, both those stories expose the sham of a certain situation.
You need a college education to get this job.
Yeah, you really don't. You know, you really, really don't.
Be good at it.
It's frustrating. I remember I was trying to get a job that paid $20,000 a year to run a game store, and they wanted a bachelor's degree. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? It's going to cost me.
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. I'm like, what do I have to do to figure out how to put a game on a shelf and make sure that I don't steal the money? I think that's all you need from me, right? It was so frustrating. So frustrating now it's become big business. Like everybody wants this stupid degree that really the job does not require it. I don't know why you think your dumb job does a lot of it. And yeah, look at it. Both those instances, they did really well at their jobs and did not need the degree.
I love looking at some of these texts because I'm sharing scams with similar scams with texters when I was younger as well. Like Rose in Tacoma said, back in the Columbia House days, which Vicky, back in the day, there was once a service where for a penny you'd get like 12 records and then they'd suck you into a monthly subscription.
Oh yeah,
and you'd get like copies of these records and CDs and whatever, sent to cassettes as well. She said, I was 15, I would open accounts to get the pile of free CDs, and I would call and tell them that person had died. It was typically an aunt or an uncle's name, and that's how I built my early music collection.
Oh.
See, we did that in college where we kept signing up for the Columbia House, but we had access to the mailroom. So we would just create like a fake room in the dorm. Like it wasn't even it was a floor that never even existed in that dorm. So we would go through the mail to put it in the proper mail slots for the students, and then we'd like, and we don't come up with the dumbest names. Like one of the time it was Hugh Direction.
Oh yeah,
nice. Kind of
hey, Mr. Direction, how are you?
Eventually, they caught on and just stopped sending Columbia House to our dorm. But like that's how we built our music collection as well.
It's kind of funny on that sort of term as well. It's not technically a scam, I guess, maybe, because I got Columbia House when I was young, like under 18, and I was like, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to pay for all it all. I'm going to be great. And then family member was just like, no, I don't think you're responsible enough for it. So they called Columbia House.
What?
And then they said, this person's under 18. And Columbia House was like, all right, fine. We won't even deal with anyone under 18. You just boom. And I got the CDs for a penny.
Hey,
was this in the 90s?
Yeah, it was in the 90s.
He had no money. So
it was a grunge time. I had no money.
Oh, the grunge records?
Yeah. I think it was in high school with his own apartment.
Dude, Columbia House was insane. Like when you really think about it. It's it's such a bummer that doesn't even exist anymore.
And we know now, being in the business we're in, it cost them nothing.
No, because they printed their own versions of the CDs. Like, you never got the Columbia House CD and put it next to the band's actual CD. They must have had like some kind of a deal with the record label, obviously.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, dude, yeah, the labeling was printed slightly different.
Well, and Columbia Records was huge, so they were, a lot of the catalog was theirs.
That too.
Yeah.
And then the ones that weren't, I bet they give like a little kickback.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing? A little kickback over here, saying? A little something for the effort.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. If I call Travis, will I actually see him or someone who works for him?
Absolutely. When you come in to see my office, when you first call in, my staff will try to help you with any basic questions that you have. I can give you a call back, but they'll usually try to schedule you for a free consultation with me, the attorney, and I'll meet with you personally. We'll talk about the basics of your case, and I'll take you through a question and answer session an interview that usually lasts about 30 minutes. We'll get the basics of your financial situation. I can answer your questions, and we can talk about whether bankruptcy makes sense, your non-bankruptcy options, and how bankruptcy could affect you, what the process is.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
The world needed a safer trampoline. Dr. Keith Alexander, inventor of the Spring-Free Trampoline, wanted to bring the joy of trampolining to his daughter. His wife said they were too dangerous, so he invented his own. Spring-Free Trampoline is the world's safest trampoline, with no springs or hard edges. Now, parents can have peace of mind that their kids are outside jumping safely. To learn more, visit springfreetrampoline.com.